Hey folks, it's Dave back here in the friendly confines of Studio B. A little less windy here tonight, so I'm kind of happy to report that. It has been bad. It's 15 degrees out. Um, Boy, you know when it's if you live in a cold climate, sometimes you go outside and you like I'm going up and down the stairs at the rink, and I'm coming in the house, and I'm unloading the truck, and you got the cold air, you're breathing it in, and your lungs just start to hurt. That's kind of where I am right now. My lungs are starting to hurt from just breathing it all in. It's going to be noisy here for a minute. I just got home. I'm washing the jerseys. I kind of got to keep those going here, or otherwise I'll be at it all day. And I like to wash them when I come home. It's 4 loads, so it takes a couple of hours, but I do like to get them washed so they don't really stink as much. You know, if I can wash them like right away, then it's better. AP comes by. Thanks for coming by, AP. I'm not feeling terrible, but I can still hear it in my voice. I actually watched a little bit of my video I did with a game-winning drive last night before work, and I could still hear the nasalness in me. So, so I'm not over this by any means. But, a couple things here. All right, couple things I want to go over. One, I'm kind of glad that you guys enjoyed the Ron show. Might have enjoyed it too much. A lot of compliments on that. I do not feel the love whatsoever with that. And I'm glad that, Ron did it. And Ron does a good job solo. He does. Ron does a great job solo. A lot of compliments on that one, though. So, I'm kind of wondering if Ron's going to go off on a solo project. And don't let it go to his head. You don't want to let this stuff go to his head, because it will go to his head. And he'll be off, doing a solo project. And we'll end up breaking up like Skid Row and never getting back together again, And the original Skid Row lineup was so good, So there's that. So Juck it, and thanks to Juck for doing that show. My schedule is lightening up a little bit. This Sunday I got the triple header. It's my last triple header of the year. And then after that, 2 of the leagues stop and just have playoffs. And then the one league, I got like 5 or 6 games in the entire month of March. So that should be pretty good. So my schedule tones down so I can finally get back to playing some things and recording the podcast and getting some member-only content out and Patreon content out. Just, holy cow. Just between the workload and the weather. And I hate to keep bitching about the weather, but the weather was so bad that last night on the ride home, I had the local talk show on, and the guys were talking to people about how damn cold February's been and windy, and it's like we haven't seen anything like that in years. So it's not just me. There's a lot of people, oh man, that are that have had enough of this cold here. And I know, and then you get the Wallace, New England. We get that, but when it gets ridiculous, then it's just okay. We're used to cold, we're used to snow, but when it gets ridiculous. And like AP says, it's just been a rough winter all around. Look around the country, how many places are getting snow. Didn't like New Orleans get snow and Florida get snow? That's just what's going on with this particular winter. So everywhere, it's just been pretty bad. So yes. All right. So any more game-winning drives to the Patriots? Yes, I need to wrap that up. So what do we? I forget where we are. It's behind me. I can't reach it. But I forget where we are. What are we? 1-8. So that's 9 games out of the 14. So there's 5 left, I think what it is. So I don't know if I'll bang those out in one video or if I'll do 3 and 2 or something like that. But I will wrap up that project there. And that's one of the things I want to talk about tonight, too, is, does it have to be a project, But anyway, so the picture, I'm going everywhere tonight. I'm all over the place, as you can tell. I'm still stuffed up. The logo here tonight for the chat was a rabbit kind of looking down a rabbit hole at an old football game. For some reason, I've been really into old football. I don't know, it just kind of happened, so I'm going to talk about that tonight. My dog over here, looking a little better. He did not have a good day. So I don't know if he's still kind of having the residual effects of that stomach thing that gave him diarrhea for a couple of weeks, or if it is the cancer. We're not sure. But in either case, we're not planning anything long-term with him. We're trying to spend as much time with him as we can. And whatever he wants to eat, he's going to eat. And, what he wants to do. It stinks. The backyard is a sheet of ice. And he's walking on it and falling through the ice into the snow. And he can't get out back to go to the bathroom. And I feel so bad. It's like, this is not the way I wanted him to go out. Was fighting a bad winter. But that's where we are. And I don't know if he'll make it out of the winter. But it's so cold and so icy. We just can't go and clear the backyard like we used to. It's been so bad of a winter. So things aren't good with the dog. The wife's having some more issues, so she's got MRIs tomorrow to see what's going on with her. So that's kind of stinking. The weather stinks. Work, yeah, getting a little bit better again after Sunday. Things will settle down, and then I'm going to be playing so many games. In fact, I'm going to try to schedule some time off so I can just do nothing but game, because it's just been kind of miserable over here, as you could tell. And so I got a whole bunch of things planned. But anyway, so I've been going down this football rabbit hole, and I think the last time I talked, I don't know if it was on the podcast or if it was here, or maybe I was talking to Ron, I forget. And I kind of confessed, I says, I really think football is my favorite sport. Maybe not today's game, but just in general, if I have to play a game or watch a game, I think I'd rather watch an older football game, even though I'm the hockey guy. And maybe that's it. Maybe because I do so much hockey that I'm hockeyed out sometimes. And so football is something that I've never played any kind of organized football whatsoever. I mean, really. I mean, I played in gym class. We would, shirts and skins in gym class, and that's about it. So I never played. I was too small to play football, and I would have, been broken in half. So maybe that's why I enjoyed, playing the football a lot. But I've been, we all have our wheelhouses, our favorite sport, our favorite teams, our favorite seasons, and the whole bit. And for football, I've talked about it that, $76, I think I was in like 4th or 5th grade or something like that, or 3rd grade. And, I discovered this little thing here, this little gumball thing. Sorry, my shoulder's really bad. At a convenience store, and I was like, oh, look at that little helmet there. I love that little logo. And I just fell in the bucks ever since I saw that little helmet there in 1976. Don't know anything about them, but I followed them. And they were bad, but I love the colors. I love the uniforms. And the fact that they were so horrible kind of just made them more lovable. Because, if you were a Buccaneer fan in the 70s, you went... No one hated you. You weren't. They didn't threaten anybody. Like if you had a cowboy shirt or a Steelers shirt or something like that, it's like Cowboys, Steelers, because you didn't want to lose in it. But everybody beat the Buccaneers. So if you had a Buccaneer shirt on, people just kind of felt sorry for you. And I did. I was all Buccaneered out by 1980. I was all Buccaneered out. It was great. But anyway, so 75 was the first time I really started watching football. That Super Bowl there. What was that? The Steelers Vikings Super Bowl, I think it was. Oh, now I got to go look that up here. Hang on a sec here. I'm ill prepared for this chat. Let's go to pro football here. So 75. Yes, that. Oh no, 75 was Pittsburgh, Dallas. Pittsburgh, Minnesota was 74. So Pittsburgh, Dallas. I think that's the first Super Bowl I watched. It was Pittsburgh, Dallas, 75. So that sticks out for me. So that's why I bought that season in Appa and bought it in a couple other things, because that's just like one of my first seasons that really followed the game. And then 76 came with the Buccaneers, and I followed the football pretty closely, through the formative years, as Ron likes to call it. You're 14 years old or 16 years old. And then, the Patriots in 85 went to the Super Bowl. That's right when I was getting out of high school. So that was kind of a big deal, too. I was just out of high school and watching them. And then after that, again, you get to be, 16, 17, 18 years old. You get your license, you get a car, and you're running around with girls and the whole bit, And so you don't really, don't follow it as much. When you're a teenager, at least I was, when I was between 10 and 14, I was buying the bubblegum cards and, putting them in shelves. My grandfather built me a little shelf so I could put all separated by the teams and by the year. And it was a good time, collecting all those cards. Had a fun time with that. And but then by the mid '80s, I was off and running, and I was playing guitar and playing in bands and doing other things. So I didn't follow sports as much. So that, again, long story short, that's kind of my wheelhouse there. Mid '70s, mid '80s, where I really followed football and I really followed baseball. Hockey, I kind of followed all the way along up until about 2008 or something like that. Then I kind of got away from hockey a little bit. The 2010s and beyond are just kind of just a gray area for me with hockey. Once they moved into the Fleet Center from the Boston Garden, and they had all those bad years, and they didn't make the playoffs, and they were terrible, and then they traded Ray Bourque to the Avalanche, which is a good thing, I think, so he could win the Cup in 2001. After that, Boston really had a hard time following Boston in regular hockey. But anyway, so what I'm getting at is for some reason I'm going down this big football rabbit hole, and I'm starting to dial it back a little bit. Turn the dial back a little bit. So, Bob gave me 1972 app, and I played some of that, and that's been fun. But I dialed it back a little further to 1970. So I picked up 1970 APBA, and I picked it up in Solitaire Pro Football, and obviously I'm playing the Boston Patriots here with Game Winning Drive on the channel. So I picked that up in a few different games. Really, really kind of enjoying the 70s, and I'm like the 1970, and I'm going back on YouTube, and I'm watching some games in the 70s, and This Week in Pro Football from the 70s, and that was the merger. You know what I mean? The merger of the two, to the AFL and the NFL, and again, I'm going back and I'm learning about all these things. I didn't know about it all back then. I just kind of took it for granted. So I'm learning about the mergers and what happened with the teams, and I watched a really good video today on YouTube, and it was about the history of all the stadiums and then the NFL, and they went all the way back to the beginning where they were playing in parking lots almost, And so it was fun saying, okay, so they started, I think it was almost like alphabetical. So they started with, some of the older teams, the first team like Chicago and stuff. And then, they went all the way through, the Baltimores and Miami and Dallas. And they started so they started here at this stadium. Then they had a little bit of footage of the stadium and the players. And then they moved to the stadium. And I didn't realize like places like Comiskey Park, they played football in Comiskey Park. And then Comiskey Park is gone. What do you mean Comiskey Park is gone? I know they can't keep these things up forever, but it's like, that's Comiskey Park. I love playing baseball games, on my tabletop in Comiskey Park, in Detroit Stadium or Tiger Stadium. This whole video was about an hour long, and it talked about all the different stadiums, and it showed them demolishing, like, the Pontiac Silverdome. I'm like, oh, man, they took down the Silverdome. I don't remember them taking these places down. And I suppose you can't leave them up, because they're building these new places now, and, it looked like they got about 20 years out of some of these places, which I guess is pretty good. But it was just a very depressing video, like watching all these football teams from the past and playing in these places, and then showing the demolition of these places, and it's like, man, it just felt like part of me was just like blown up, with the dynamite there, because I was like, how many games did I watch the highlights of the Buccaneers and the Lions at the Pontiac Silverdome, when I was a kid. How many Foxborough Stadium games did I see with the Patriots? I went there many times. I've only been to Gillette once, but I've been to Foxborough Stadiums probably 5, 6, or 7 times, when I was younger. That was before they were good, but still. And so it was just a very depressing video, but it was very entertaining, and I found myself really, really digging older football. And so I got 1970, and I'm going to be playing some of that. But I started to get into some other things, like the crazy teams. And the one I'm on right now, and I see the chat. I'll get here 1 second with the chat room here. I'm really kind of digging that World Football League, the WFL, if you will. And I don't know why, but I am. I'm digging the WFL, and, I have it over here. I think I already showed this here the other night, but I have it for a second season. Alrighty, so there it is right there for second season. So I'll be doing something with that, and even the USFL. I don't know why, but I'm real. You know me, I like the defunct teams and things like that. But I never really followed the WFL. Never knew much about it, but it was a mid-'70s thing, and that goes along with my Kansas City Scouts in '74 and the California Golden Seal. So that's kind of a area for me. So I'm learning about it, and I'm going down this rabbit hole into these crazy leagues, WFL, USFL, and also even further back in the NFL, and finding out, where teams started and where they ended up. Because again, I never followed that path of some of these teams that, where Washington started. I think they started in Massachusetts, and now they're in Washington, and how this team, started as the Houston Texans and moved to Kansas City to be the Chiefs. And it was just kind of fun following that. And it makes me want to go back and, I think I'd rather go back in time with my seasons, then go forward in time and play newer seasons. One, there's less teams, so if I want to buy some of these seasons, they're going to be a lot cheaper with some games. And two, it's just I relate more to that. It's more my speed than it is the newer seasons. So I've been going down this crazy football rabbit hole of going dialing it back, turn the dial back, and going back into the past with football. And it's been kind of fun. And so I'm really looking forward to getting through this week and then putting some of these things here on the channel. And we're going to go take a look at some WFL. We're going to take a look, I'm going to probably pick that up in some of the Downey games. Maybe some USFL. Maybe we'll see some Action PC here with some of that stuff. But you're going to see some different stuff here as I'm kind of, as AP says, and we already had this, it's been a rough winter. Maybe that's why I'm kind of looking at some different things here. So, Todd B comes by, World Worst Gamer. Yeah, come on, lurkers, say something. I know some people just like to sit back and chat. What I do, Sean, sometimes at night is I'll put on something, and I'll have my I got like a smaller iPhone that doesn't even have a SIM card in it, and I just use the Wi-Fi at night so I don't have to burn my regular phone. And I'll just put that next to my ear like an AM radio, and I'll listen. And so a lot of times I'll be listening and I won't be chatting. When Al's playing a game or someone else is playing a game or having a chat, I just listen. So you won't see me chatting much. So it's okay if people don't want to talk. But Todd B comes by, yeah. John McKay had so many good ones, right? So many good ones, John McKay. What was the other one? He says, we couldn't run tonight, but we made up for it by not blocking or something like that. AP says old football is great. Yeah, I'm starting to get into it. I had this thing in my head about old-time football that it was just run, and then punt. And I'm going back. Now, again, this is just highlights I'm watching. I'm not watching full games. But there was a lot of passing back in the 60s. And I just thought it was all run, give it to Jim Brown, give it to Gale Sayers, and just see you later. But there was a lot of passing. And in today's game, there's a lot more running than you would think, even though it's a very wide open, West Coast type of league, So it's kind of fun doing that. Jeff comes by. Good to see you, Jeff. We haven't talked in a while. Thanks for coming by here. I'm still nasally, and it's all in my head here, but I don't feel terrible. And I've been really lucky at work that people have been kind of picking up the slack, so I haven't had to skate in a while. So it's been kind of fun just kind of running things and running the scoreboard and kind of just chatting with people, making sure things are okay rather than have to physically participate. Dan, good to see you, Dan. You're a Cardinal fan, and you can't say anything. Cardinals had some good days. They really did. Jeff says, I did my spring cleaning this past weekend and went through a lot of my APA football seasons. 81 and 85 are organized, and organized the starting lineups and rosters. Perfect. Yeah, I'm kind of getting my things here. I'm holding off on buying some more seasons, even though I really want to, because, again, when I start working, it's like I need to do something fun with this aside from just pay bills. Otherwise, I ain't going to want to keep working. So, but, yeah, I need to do that myself. There's a lot of history in the league. It's fun to read about them. Yeah. Oh, it's just the idea, I don't think I'm necessarily going to do projects, and that's the other thing I want to talk about is projects here. But before I do that, let's. I have an unboxing here. I don't know if I want to show this on the screen until I know exactly what's in this envelope, but I think I know what's in this envelope. So hang on one sec. Let me just do a peek, because I bought a couple things off of eBay, and I just want to make sure that like something doesn't pop out that's not supposed to pop out. And no, I think we should be okay with this. Is this what I think it is? Yeah, okay. So let me come overhead here. So we can go. There we go. All right, so let me show you what I got here. Sorry, I can't lift my arm tonight. So we're going to zoom in on this envelope here, and we're going to see what's in this envelope. Alrighty, and this is going to be a little spoiler here on some of the things I want to do. And, oh, look at this. Look at that. It's in a little thing. Thank you. A little bit of thank you note here from the guy in eBay. And what this is, I'm liking, I'm kind of impressed that he put this in there. This is, it's supposed to be the Detroit Wheels schedule for the WFL. Oh, and even a little map to where Reinerson Field is, if anybody's out there in Detroit. So this is the schedule. So now, if we look at this here, they were supposed to play. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They were supposed to play 20 games, and they only got 14. They were 1-13, and they folded. So, this is going to make the table here. So somehow, some way, some WFL, whether it's a second season or whether it's a Downey game or it's going to be APA. I'm tempted to pull the trigger on that APA season from Chris. But I have the schedule here, so I can actually play every game and see how they would have done if they had continued on and didn't fold. But and this guy here, okay, well, there's a guy that wrote a book, of course they did, about the Detroit Wheels. And David C. is trying to get me in contact with him so I can get him on the show and try to get a hold of his book and talk about the Wheels. Because you know me, I love my crazy teams and things like that. So the Detroit Wheels, 1974 schedules here, and they're going to be making an appearance here one way or another on the channel. I found out that I have them in Final Score football, because I picked up the Whoop-de-Doo package a few years ago from Downey. I think it was the $50 package that got you like everything right up through 2013 to 2015 or something like that. And then after that, you have to buy the seasons individually. But it's just like just ratings for each team, not individual players, and just roll for final score, so like the hockey game. And so I looked and I had that. I had both seasons, I think, 74 and 75. 75, they only got halfway through and the league folded. But I could actually go back, and if I could find the schedules, I think I did find some of the schedules, and play it out in a fast play format to see how the teams would have done. And so you're going to see some WFL here on the channel. How much? I don't know, but to me, it's more like a Cleveland Spider thing or a fictional thing. But anyway, so I picked up this Carling Ports Black Label. Boy, my friend's dad drank Black Label back in the day. So I got that. That's a Detroit Wheels. It was like, I don't know, it was like $1.50, $1.50. So I was like, with free shipping. So it's like, I'll buy it. For $2, I'll buy it. All righty. And then the other thing I have here from my buddy Chris, who I think he fixed the 1970 season for me, because I try not to be too difficult with this stuff here, but what he sent me I just didn't like. It was the helmets looked too modern to be 1970. They had it looked like the 1984 helmets, with the 4 bars rather than the other one. So he just printed out these for me again. So there we go. So he's got the Boston Patriots this time. It still says New England, but it says Boston on this side. So because the other one said the same thing. It said New England on one side and Boston. So, but we'll use the Boston side when I play. So then we got Detroit, and we got the Jets. Oh, the Jets were only 4-10. Huh? That's pretty bad. And then I'm just going to separate them by conference. So this come in from Chris to kind of replace the other ones. Yeah, I don't know why. I've always liked that Bengals helmet. It's so plain and it's so boring. But I've always liked it. I've always liked it. It's like the answer. It's a lot of fun history. It's fun to read about them. Yeah. Steve comes by. He lived in Tulsa when the USFL had a team there. Well, I'm hoping to get some of the. It wasn't the Tulsa Oilers, was it? Was it Tulsa Oilers? I'm not sure. It tells you about the rule changes in there too. Yeah, I'm hoping there's some different rules. That's for sure. So we want to see about that. The San Diego Superchargers. Kansas City, they were 7-5. There's St. Louis. We got a St. Louis fan in here, so they were 8-5. America's team, and then here's the Colts with my hat that I'm wearing tonight, and we got the Redskins, 6-8. Eagles 3-10. Miami 10-4. There's Minnesota. I love my '70s Vikings. Oh, the Bills 3-10 with OJ. All right. The Falcons. We're going to be playing. Another thing I want to do is the 1977 Atlanta Falcons. I want to get them on the team. Specifically, 10-3. I think they went to the championship game and lost. Here's my Houston Oilers. And we're going to get some Saints here in the channel, too, because we got Billy Kilmer as a quarterback. And I've always been intrigued by Billy Kilmer and the Joe Theismann thing. So Kilmer played with the Saints, and so did Tom Dempsey. So we're going to be playing Tom Dempsey and the Oilers here with some APBA football. We got the Raiders and the Broncos. So, yeah, so my 1970 is all done up here. So there is that. Hang on one second. I'm going to leave you guys here, but just give me about 35 seconds. Hang on a second. All right, I just have to put the next load of laundry, and I have to keep them going. Otherwise, I'll be up here till real late at night. So I want to keep them going. But anyway, Doug Williams. Where was Williams the quarterback? Where was that? Was that USFL? The World League has a set of football cards too. No, what are we talking about here? Todd, what are we talking about for World Football League cards? I'm trying to follow that discussion. So the Jets aren't signing Aaron Rodgers, right? Is that what I hear? That is kind of wild. So, that's interesting. And I need to find out what Todd was talking about with that. So the Oklahoma Outlaws, was that USFL? That might have been USFL. All right, let me take this off, and I'll come back to me now. So I just kind of wanted to go overhead and show you the new cards I got here, plus the Detroit Wheels. So I'm interested in doing some of that stuff there. So you stayed a Cardinal fan after they left, and your grandfather had season tickets. You went to the last St. Louis game and still have the stub. Oh, good. I wish I kept some of my stubs. I had some old Bruins games that I went to, and I never kept the I kept them, and now I can't find them. I had like some autographs from some of the guys too. This is a late night for you. Yeah, Tuesday nights are late for me. Because I get home from about probably a little after 11. Probably get home about 11:30 on Monday and Tuesday nights. So my schedule is I'm at the rink Monday and Tuesday nights, and then Friday and Saturday morning. So I have the loop-de-loop on my schedule there. And then it's just, whenever I got to go up to New Hampshire or any other rink that I go to, it's usually, Wednesday or Friday afternoons. And then sometimes Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons too. Anyway. The trading cards. Oh, I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting. And I saw Doug Williams was a quarterback in one of the leagues. So, well, no, it wouldn't have been USFL, right? Because the WFL was 74, and he was Buccaneers in 70. Oh, maybe it was. I think it was Buccaneers in 79. So maybe he was after the Buccaneers. Maybe that's where he went. Fenner, what's up, buddy? Yeah, it got real intense when USA and Canada. You know what's kind of funny is that was what, Saturday night that they played. I was working and I wasn't feeling good, so I did the game, and I'm driving home and my phone's going off, and I got my cousin that I haven't talked to in a long time, big hockey fan, and he's just like, "What a game, huh?" And I'm like, I says, "No idea what you're talking about." I says, I just got out of the rink and I'm driving home and I'm going to bed. He's like, "Oh, it's the USA Canada," and I was like, I haven't watched any of it. And then I get home and I'm chilling out with my decaf coffee or my hot chocolate, trying to warm up, and I'm scrolling on Facebook, and it's just like 3 fights in 9 seconds, 3 fights in 9 seconds, 3 fights in 9 seconds, 3 fights in 9 seconds. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get it. There were 3 fights in 9 seconds. And so I think I posted something like, were there really 3 fights in 9 seconds? Because I haven't heard anything about it. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, you should have seen it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you totally missed the sarcasm. Because on my Facebook feed, it's just all hockey fans, and it's just like, that's all they posted. It's like, oh my gosh, shut up. 9 fights in 3 seconds. I'm tired of hearing about it. Just shut up. Now I don't want to watch it because you wrecked it. Like anything else. When I hear something that's in my face too much, see you later. I even got sick of Tom Brady at one point because I was Tom Brady. I was like, I'm sick of Tom Brady. Sick of it. Great. He won Super Bowl. I'm sick of Tom Brady. I love him. I'm sick of him. Don't talk about him anymore for a while, And yeah, Thursday, and they're playing in Boston, actually. There's a lot of people tonight that will tell me they're going to the game. And tickets are going for like $1,200. And I guess a whole bunch of them got a whole bunch of tickets for $100. And they're like, do we sell them for $1,200? Do I make $1,100 on this, or do I go to the game? I told them, I says, quite honestly, I don't see them beating Canada twice. I mean, if they do it in Boston and they win the whole thing, it's going to be a sight to be seen. But honestly, I think the USA's quite beat up from what I heard, and I don't see them beating Canada twice. I just don't see it. It could be happening, and if it is, good for them. But I just don't particularly see it. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about, Todd says, what's the NBA All-Stars going to fight? The All-Star games used to be fun back in the day. They used to have fights in the NHL All-Star games, and people would check and play real hard. And, baseball is the same way, and so was football. And then all of a sudden, the money became the thing, and people are like, I can't get hurt playing these extra games. And the football one's at the end of the season, so that's the one that makes the most sense, because you can play hard, and if you get hurt, you still got all summer to heal up. The NHL and the NBA and even baseball, they're right in the middle of the season. So it's kind of hard to if you some people I just rather rest because I got the second half of the season. I don't want to get hurt, and So at some point, people started bailing out of these games because they just didn't want to deal with it. They wanted just to rest, to spend time with their family, or not get hurt. And anytime somebody got hurt in an all-star game, you're like, oh, well, that was a good idea. It really was. So one of the Bruins already got hurt in this series here. The McAvoy got hurt. So they were talking on the radio like, oh, that was a good idea, playing this thing and getting hurt, Yeah, but yeah, so they got to, the NFL went to something. I don't know what they're doing now, but I don't think they're playing the game anymore. They're not even going to Hawaii, I don't think. That used to be the thing, go to Honolulu or something like that and play the All-Star game. The NHL, they backed off to a point where nobody checked, and it was kind of fun. Just it was a 15-14 game. It wasn't a hockey game anymore, and the poor goalies got destroyed. But nobody took slap shots and nobody blocked pucks. It was just a pickup game with friends. I thought that was enjoyable. It was not believable, but it was enjoyable. Then they tried the 3-on-3, which was kind of interesting, I guess. And now they're trying this Four Nations thing, and it's I don't know. Again, they're playing real hard, so you can get hurt. Is Tom Brady? I think he's part owner of the Raiders, is what it is. Will you be interested in Pete Carroll? I don't know. That's kind of funny. Shea Theodore for Vegas got hurt too. Yeah, you got to wonder about if this is going to cost. Now the Bruins don't have to worry about winning the cup this year, so they could play everybody. If everybody got hurt, it still wouldn't matter. But if McDavid, who got hurt and he was out, that wrecks the Oilers' chance. So I mean, you're gonna see. You're gonna see. What happens with that. Who gets hurt and how bad and what it affects to see what. Because do you think the Edmonton Oilers want to pay McDavid, $100 million a year or whatever he's getting, and then he gets hurt and he can't finish out the season or play in the playoffs? That's not a good investment for them. I know he's playing for his country and the whole bit, but holy cow, that's not a good idea. At least that's what I think. If I was paying him and he got hurt, I'd be like, Steve also says the Oklahoma Outlaws played 1 year in '84 in Tulsa, then moved to Arizona. Didn't everybody move to Arizona for 1 year though? Mike comes by. Good to see you, Mike. What were you playing the other day, Mike? Were you playing hockey? Well, you doing 1980 hockey? I think you had Sweden USA hockey with Strat. I think you were playing the other day. I don't think I have that in Strat. If I do, it's on the computer. I never got the cards for that because I just there's no sense because USA is not going to win. It's just I don't think they could win. I just don't. I don't think I've ever seen anybody have USA win that. Although they should be carded stronger because they did win it. So you would think that they what they would be carded at the beginning of the tournament versus after the tournament, you'd probably want to card them up so they could win it, right? I don't know. That's we should ask somebody about that. Would you want to have like crazy rolls in the game for USA to win, or since they won it all, do you want to card them a little higher? Yeah. It's cards and dice is so hard. I keep changing how I do it, and you can see, I'm always changing up what I do and mixing it up and trying different cameras and different angles and different views because, it's hard to show cards and dice. It really is. Federer comes by. When I watched the USFL as a kid, all right, hang on a sec. We're going to give it to you here. All right, that's for Federer. When I watched the USFL as a kid, I loved the Michigan Panthers because I followed Anthony Carter from there to the Vikings. Yep. We had the Breakers up here, Boston Breakers up here, and I wanted to go to a game. I never did. I think they played at BU, Nickerson Field, I think it was. I don't remember. They weren't that good, and the league never really took off, and it just wasn't a big deal, And Sean says the Devils lost a defenseman because of that tourney. Yep. And true. And like Dan says, it's been great hockey. You know what? Tonight I was watching the clip of the Boston sports yackers up here, and they were talking about how McAvoy's hurt, and what if he can't finish out the season, and how's the team going to feel, how the fans going to feel, and one of the guys, you can hear the washing machine going over here. Sorry about that. It's in a loud cycle right now, and one of the guys that was talking said, he goes, something? I'm okay if McAvoy can't come back for the Bruins this year because he goes, I get no confidence in this team's going to do anything anyway. And he says, I've enjoyed this Four Nations tournament better than any NHL game I've seen all year long from the Bruins. Makes a good point. That's all anybody's talking about is the USA-Canada game and the Four Nations. And it's the best of the best. And so you're getting, some great lines out there. And I remember when they had in the 90s when they did this, and you had Messier out there with, Yzerman and Brendan Shanahan. It was just like, oh my gosh, it's, picture all these guys on a team in the NHL instead of being dispersed amongst 30 teams. When everybody gets one, maybe two, and then you get all these other guys who are fringe players who, it's just, imagine if the NHL cut the league in half. They never would, but just in Dave's world, to cut it in half, imagine how good the teams would be. And I've tried to do that several times in Franchise Hockey Manager. I've tried to go in and get rid of all but like 6 teams, and then just do an auto draft, and what those 6 teams would look like. They would be loaded. They would be loaded with talent instead of so watered down like they are now. No offense to anybody that's playing now, because you're in the NHL and I'm not. But as from a fan perspective, when they do these tournaments like this and they just take the best of the best, and you leave all these other third and fourth line guys home, which, whatever, you get some talent. You get some unbelievable games happening. And so that was the point of the guy on the radio. Is like, I've enjoyed this tournament more than I've enjoyed any Bruins game this year. So if the Bruins aren't going anywhere and one of their better guys is hurt, that stinks. But I will trade that for the entertainment I got, because I'm not expecting Boston to go anywhere in the playoffs anyway. Interesting point. I thought. So that's something to think about here. And let's see, going back to the chat here. So again, what Dan said, it's been great hockey. It's been great hockey. And Sean says he's not into the whole patriotic thing. I mean, and some people are, some people aren't. I'm a little bit. I am. Would I rather see my team win the Stanley Cup, or would I rather see them win this Four Nations thing? I would rather see them win the Stanley Cup. I think that has more standing. Going back in the records book, that's what I'm going to look at, is Stanley Cups. I'm not going to look at who won Four Nations Cup. This could be a one and done. If it's an every year thing for the next 30 years, then you talk about it. But every time they have this new thing coming in the NHL and they have all the countries and all the patriotic thing happens, that's great, but I'd still rather have the Stanley Cup. That's just me. And the NBA All-Star Game's been a joke for a long now. The whole NBA has been kind of a joke if you really think about it. It's a 3-point shooting contest. It's just not kind of fun. It's not fun to watch. I don't like watching it anymore. I followed it for a little bit, and no, not anymore. McDavid, $12.5 million, and he's close to a contract. Yeah. So he goes and gets busted up. What's going to happen? Let's see here. 8 years, $100 million. That's a steal. Imagine that. McDavid's no Messier. Yeah, we'll see. It is kind of weird that how many times that Edmonton gets like the number 1 pick every year and they still can't win the cup. Oh man. I know you've been getting Chris White's cards. This catalog shows the best of the 80s, 1880s, 1890s. It seems really good. I buy a lot of stuff from him. But in full disclosure, what I buy from Chris, and really what I buy from a lot of people, is only if I can't buy it from the company. So I bought a lot of Strat off of eBay and from people on Facebook and Delphi, only because Strat didn't have it in stock. And I bought some APA stuff from Chris and other people only because it wasn't in stock, for the most part. I did buy somebody's Hockey Bones cards. Like, I just don't play the game. I bought it. I tried it. I just don't like it. I have 2 seasons. Would you like to buy one? And so I did buy one from him, but they weren't the PDF. They were the actual cards, and they were the drive-through cards. And it just happened to be a season I didn't have. So I was like, well, I'll buy it, put it in my collection. It's probably one I wouldn't have bought at full price anyway. But, so as far as the Chris stuff, White stuff goes, he's got good stuff. It comes out great. I did buy $18.99 from him for APA baseball, because they don't sell it for APA. And I got 1871, which I think is the very, very first ever organized baseball back in the day. So I got that, and some of the names are kind of fun. And I have played it here on the channel, and we talked to Thomas Hetrick there, Mr. Hetrick there, about that, because he wrote the Spiders book, and he's like, they mostly underhand pitched and wanted you to hit the ball. It wasn't about striking anybody out. It was almost like a softball game or a wiffle ball game. And so when you keep that in mind, it really makes it interesting. So I played these games, but it's not like a modern baseball game. It's really more just backyard ball type thing when you play it. And it's hard to transfer that into cards. It really is. But I had some fun with that. So I did buy some of the crazy seasons from Chris, And, that was another. The Four Nations reminds me of Rendezvous 87. Team Russia and Canada in the best of 3. Yeah, I mean, you can have some fun with those. You really can, and that's the, famous clips in that series and the whole bit. The 1980 Olympics is another one. 96 when USA beat Canada and Gretzky missed the wide open net at the end of the game that would have tied it, There's all that. So some of these things actually, they're a nice diversion from the regular season. They really are. It's a nice diversion from the regular season, if you will. And so I don't really like to hate on them. I'd still rather have Stanley Cup, but whereas my team stinks this year, then I'll enjoy this. If I was the Edmonton, I wouldn't want McDavid and whoever else going, or any teams at the top. I wouldn't want my guys going. If I'd rather get the cup, but seeing how Edmonton's done it, they might not get the cup anyway. But yeah. So getting back to the projects thing. As I talked about before, I think I really want to start using some of the seasons and the games that I got. And I got some games behind me. In fact, I got another one in today, and I'll unbox it. It's a PDF, but I'll unbox the PDF hopefully this week and show you what I got with that. It's another football game. And so I got some new games here that I haven't played yet. I have a couple of add-ons from games that people have sent over. We need to do that. So this year, once I get through this next few weeks, we're going to have some people on, and we're going to sit them down. We're going to get the overhead camera on, and we're going to come overhead, and we're going to play these games with them. And they're going to walk us through how to play their game and show us off their game. So we're really going to try to do a lot of that this year. Not only interview the person, but have the game going here. Walk me through it. Grant Fines, come on, show me your hockey game, Grant. I know we've been talking about this for 4 or 5 months now, but I have it sitting here behind me. I want to get it on the table. I keep watching people play it, and I want you to walk me through it, and so everybody can see it. Things like that. Ian from On Deck Baseball, he's got some things he wants to show me. I got a box over here from him. We're going to get him on. We're going to show off his game again. So this year it's going to be about showing off different games, getting developers on, and for me personally, it's I want to go and I don't want to call it the one-offs or the one-night stands, but neither do I want to call it a project, because I think a project is something with a beginning and an end, and the idea is you want to play X amount of games in this project to either determine a winner or to get some kind of result to compare it to real life. So that's kind of how I define a project. And I don't want to get stuck in that project mode, because then I feel like I have to wrap it up, or I have to have a winner, or I have to have a certain result that I'm going for. I play so many games, as you know, I've been, I've tried to do that Clemens 86 replay a handful of times. I did it in Strat, finished it in Strat on the PC, and that was a weird result. Then I tried it in Payoff Pitch, and I ended up kind of bailing out after a couple games. And then I started it with, I don't know, was it APA? There's something else I started it with. I think it was APA, and I was playing in a Digital Diamond, so I'm keeping the stats for that. So there's, different things like that I could do that's only like 30 or 40 games or whatever it is I need to play. But I really want to kind of pull out, especially with the APA football, I just want to go back in time and play a game. I want to get some guys on the table. I want to enjoy the cards. I want to enjoy the game and not have to worry about, well, this is part of something bigger. And I want to do that with baseball. I got the Seattle Pilots. Maybe I'll put together a little product. I thought about with the Pilots, I would just have them play everybody once. And maybe put the best guys from each team out there against the Pilots and see how they did. I also want to play, some of the other expansion teams from that year. I like expansion teams because they're terrible. That's kind of what I do. So the idea is, like I said, I got a new football game. I want to get that on the table. I got the WFL. I want to show that off. I'll probably play that in a bunch of different games. And if I start enjoying it, then, I'll pick it up in other games and just, who knows? I might play that and be like, yeah, this is dumb. I don't know anybody. Because I don't know anybody in WFL. I know they picked up a couple of guys for season 2 that they didn't finish. But I don't know anybody, so they're all kind of fictional players for me. But I might have fun with the different teams. I thought it'd be fun to have the Detroit Wheels, get on the table here. Maybe pick one of the better teams and see how they did. Maybe have them play some NFL teams. Don't know. I mean, it's kind of like it's just a wide open door here of things I want to do, but I don't necessarily have to have it part of a project. And I got the Player of the Game basketball. I really like that game. Player of the Game basketball from Downey. I like it, and I want to. And I bought some ABA seasons. I think I bought the whole ABA, and I want to get some ABA going because I got the Kentucky Colonels, and teams like that they're no longer around, and they're just, I like going back in the past and shining the spotlight. I feel like I'm an archaeologist sometime, going into a tomb or or whatever, a pyramid, and shining the light in and seeing all these things from days gone by, which it fascinates the heck out of me, by the way. When they see these people go in and they you go into a place that has been sealed up for like hundreds of years or whatever, and you see, it's like, to me it's so cool. It's like somebody built this, and then they put all these things in here. Somebody physically they've been in here for hundreds of years untouched. So you're literally stepping through a portal into the past, because if no one's touched it for umpteen hundred years or whatever it is, and it's like, man, like, the Egyptian pyramids, when they find these things once in a while, and they open this door up. It's like, this door hasn't been opened since Ra was the king of whatever. I think it's kind of neat, because it's like, man, picture, something happening here, and this house just gets covered, and then in 1,000 years they uncover it, and they're going to come down here. They're going to see exactly how I left it, and they're going to be like, it's going to be a trip into the past for them, because they'll be like, man, we're gonna take a look at how they lived back in 2025, and this is untouched. All the stuff here. Oh, look at these figures. A band called Rush. What is Rush? And what is this this helmet thing here? It looks like some kind of a sporting helmet, And who's this Bobby Orr guy? And so it is. It's kind of going back into the past. So that's kind of what I'm doing with these teams here. I want to go back into the past. I want to get certain guys on my table, especially with the football. It really is. I'm also going to be picking up an old hockey season. I'm not going to say which one. I'm not going to spoil that. I haven't bought it yet, but I'll probably pick it up, because it's an older season. It's not that expensive. But there's a couple reasons why I want to get that season on the table. Going way out of my wheelhouse with that one. But it's going into the past, and there's a reason why I want to get some of those guys on the table. But so it's about getting some of my current seasons on the table, getting some new seasons on the table, current games, new games. And it's about, I want to show off as much as I can here this year, and get some people on as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do here. And AP says, looking forward to seeing the different new games. Yeah, it's not going to be all new games, but it's going to be it'll be some new games, new to me, I should say. It's not going to be like brand new, but new to me. We do have a couple people that have created games that are new, and we'll get them on. And I don't know if I've been on here for 52 minutes. So if you're still watching, listen. If you send me an email or some kind of a message, I'm backed up with that stuff. I really am, because it's been just going to the rink and going to bed, going to the rink and going to bed. That's all I've been doing. So some stuff I answered kind of quick. Like, some people send me a quick message and I'll just go right back to you. But anything that required thought or required any kind of brain power, if you will. If it wasn't something quick that I could just respond to real quick, if it was a long thing that I needed to read and kind of soak in and figure out what I want to respond, I haven't got back to any of those yet. So don't think I'm ignoring emails or any kind of messages or even text messages on the text line. I just have not had the chance, and I'm just kind of picking off. And even in my own business, people are sending me stuff for work, and I'm just not getting to it. It's like, if it's a real quick thing, I'll get back to it. If it's this big, long thing that I got to read and process and figure out what's going on, yeah, that ain't happening. I just don't have the attention span to handle some of the bigger stuff right now. So I know I get some people that want to come on the show, and we're going to get them on the show. I got the people that have sent me some things. I just haven't got to it yet. I got a couple boxes I haven't opened yet. Some I have and some I haven't. So it's not, again, I'm not ignoring anything. It's going to happen, but I need to get through this, and I need to get better too. So a lot of my time has just been sitting in bed with an electric blanket on. And then, I don't know if I told you this the other night. So in my bed there, I got a little battery operated light, and it just goes on with the push, but it's battery operated. It's just easier than running wires. So I bought a little battery one, just sticks up there with two-way tape, and so it's like a little reading light, so I can read. And sometimes when I get my phone or whatever, it's just better to not look at that in the complete dark. So I'll have that on for a while while I surf. And so the other night I went home. Was it? I don't know if it was Sunday night or Monday night. I think it was Sunday night. And the wind's whipping and it's freezing out. And I crawl in the bed and I put on the light and I got the electric blanket on and I got my backup phone here and it's just Wi-Fi. It's like no Wi-Fi found. I'm like, oh, son of a gun. It's like the wind must have knocked out Comcast, right? So I'm thinking, it's like, oh man, because I got the light on, I got the phone on. It's like Comcast must be down. And then I looked over and the electric blanket light was off. Like, oh man, why is the electric blanket off? It says I'm going to be freezing. I love that thing in the winter, right? And then I was like, wait a sec. If I get no internet and no electric blanket, that can only mean one thing. And I rolled over and I looked at the electric clock that I have on the wall and it was black, dead. Yet we lost power. It was like 12:31 in the morning. I'm like, oh man, and it's like whipping out wind and it's like 10 degrees out. And I was like, well, they don't like to go up in the ladders when it's real windy out. So it says I have no idea when my power's coming back on during this windstorm. And there I was. I'm like, oh man. And so I couldn't get on the Wi-Fi. Couldn't do anything else. Had no heat. And I'm wondering, man, are we going to have to throw out all the food in the fridge? I don't know what I'm going to do here. And about an hour and a half later, I come back on. I was like, oh, thank goodness. Thank you guys for going and fixing that. So we lost power the other night, and I was kind of freaking out. I really was. Being without power is terrible. I don't know how those people do it in all these disasters. I just don't know how they do it. I wouldn't survive. I wouldn't survive, Yeah, you remember that when Geraldo was on TV opening up, was it Al Capone or something like that? And we all gathered around and they drilled it out and they opened it up and I was like, crickets. I remember that. Good times, good times. And you want to see some new teams and new leagues? Yeah, WFL, Cleveland Barons. Yeah, Cleveland Barons, that was a good time. Yeah, I played some Barons. I got a Barons project going with Shootout where I'm playing every game in Shootout. And I started to put that up on one of my replay sites. And then I was just like, I never got back to that. Writing the recaps was, took me a little bit longer than I wanted to do. And the Barons are another terrible team. So I think I got 3 or 4 games into that. But again, I want to get away from some of the products. Like Ron does some really good stuff. He's got the one game and he sticks with it. Every now and then he'll sneak in something else because that's what he does. He's a sneak. Ron's a sneak. If you don't know, Ron's a sneak. So he'll sneak in a game every now and then. Al does a good job with his Twilight Zone products he's got going. A lot of people do a really good job with their things. Me, I don't do a good job with products, as you know. So I'm going to focus on just getting some things here on the channel that are a little bit different. It's a learning experience for me, too. Going back and playing some of these teams from the WFL, I don't know who they are. 1970 football, before my time, but I'm going to learn about it. And it's fun learning what teams are and how they went and who they are and the whole bit. So for me, if you want to come along and take this ride with me this year, well, we're going to play some different things and some weird teams and weird games and might have some weird matchups to see how it goes. Again, I'll get my 1871 season back on here. We'll probably get some more Spiders back on here. And so it's just going to be kind of a fun little smorgasbord thing just to keep things fresh because, as much as I love playing one game for a long time because I fall in love with a game, and I did that with video games. I played Skyrim for like 3 or 4 months straight. Nothing else but Skyrim because I liked it that much. And I've done that here. I get into a groove where I just play one game over and over and over and over and over. I like that. So I'll probably do that again. But I really want to kind of get some different things here because keep it fun for me is what I want to do because I don't want to just get stuck on one game like I always do. But I do, and I probably will. To all the Frozen Back East community members from Scottsdale's High 75. Oh, Rick, don't wreck my night. Don't wreck my night, Rick. It's 16 degrees with a wind chill of below 0 right now. And it's so bad outside. My poor dog, who I don't even know where he is right now, but his cancer's back, and I don't know how much longer he's got, and I can't walk him. I can't take him for a walk because it's so cold and so windy, and my street is there's enough ice on my street that it makes it difficult to walk on. And just when the wind blows, when you got 3 feet of snow on the side of the road and the wind blows, it's just blowing that cold right on you. And I can't take them out. And then we get the coyotes too, so I don't want to tempt fate by having a coyote come out and try to grab him. So this poor guy, then he goes out in the backyard and he's stepping on the snow and he's sinking into it because it's like ice on the top, but then it sinks through, and it's taking him forever to go out back, and he's trying to find a spot to go to the bathroom. He's just like, boom, boom, and it's like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to go out and pick him up out of the snow? So I feel so bad for him. It's just been such a bad winter, and he's on his way out, and it just sucks that I can't spend time with him and take him on walks. I used to love that. And yeah, I thought maybe taking him on walks and getting exercise might extend his life a little bit, but not with this weather. Not with this weather. But yeah, thanks for reminding me that it's warm in Arizona. AP, playing 1972 NFL using Lance Hafner games. That's pretty cool. Nice job with that. Yeah, the Lance Hafner games. They're a lot of fun, still available. Interesting. Jeff joined the 84 Community Baseball product. He's liking that. The format fits me well. Me too, Jeff. Me too. I also joined the 70-71 hockey project. And it's the same kind of thing. Play any game you want. It's a little bit looser than the 84 baseball because the 84 baseball, they want to get the pitchers right or as close as possible. They're not doing an as played because it was kind of based around Strat, and with Strat you don't have everybody, so they couldn't do an as played, but they're limiting like what pitchers you can use. And so I played a handful of games. I'm pretty sure I got it within the parameters, and I've had fun with that. And I played a handful of games for the 70-71 using shootout. You can use any game you want with that too, as long as you can get goals and assists. I don't even think you need shots on net or penalties, but shootout will get all that for you. And what I like about it, Jeff, is I can kind of pick and choose whatever games I want to play. I can pick and choose what game I want to play. And for the most part, I got pretty much control over who's in the game. What I'm trying to do to kind of be faithful to the season and the stats is I'm trying to use who played in that particular game. And so the other night when I did shootout here for the hockey thing, I would roll to see who got the goal, assist, or penalty, but I actually checked to see if they played in the game. And there was a couple guys that were supposed to get penalties or even a goal, and they didn't play in the game, so I just rolled on to the next guy. I says, I'm going to keep it honest here, and just if you played in the game, then you can get stats. If you didn't play in the game for whatever reason, and it didn't say why they didn't play in the game, like Bobby Bond for Toronto Maple Leafs, big name, I think it was for the Maple Leafs. He didn't play in the game, and so he didn't get any points. But I like it because I don't have to do anything. Someone else is doing it. I can just play, enjoy whatever game I pick to play in whatever game I want to play it in, and submit the stats in, and then I can sit back and watch it unfold. So I really like that. You can that's the Lance Hafner games he's talking about there. Yeah, is Letterman on late night with Dave Dufferman? Yeah, no, I come home from the rink, and I'm just washing the jerseys here, and I just wanted to jump on and say hi before I curl up my electric blanket and and try to get rid of this cold. Can I shovel a little area for my dog to access? Yeah. We do tramp down the snow. Yeah, so what I normally do is I'll take the snowblower out back, and we got a pretty decent sized yard. I don't know if you could fit a hockey rink in it at an angle, but we got a decent sized yard. And probably like the size of a baseball infield, something like that. It's about the size of my yard. And so I'll go out with a snowblower and I'll do a circle, and then I'll cut it down the middle, down towards the back gate where he likes to go and do his thing. And he'll run through that too. And when we had two dogs, they used to chase each other around the circles and through the paths, and I get pictures of them doing that. And it was a fun time. So when the snow agrees, you can do that. But certain kinds of snow, you can't move. And that snow the other day, and then with the rain on top of it, it starts to ice up. It gets heavy, and when the snowblower hits the snow, it just doesn't move it. It can't cut through the snow. The wheels just spin because there's no traction, and you really got to push and fight and slip and fall and just to get it through the driveway. So when you get a sloppy, crappy storm like we got the other day, I can't do the path in the back. So we just kind of shovel out a little area. So we clear out the steps, and down the bottom of the steps, we give him a little, area, I don't know, a 5 by 10 area, and that's all we can do. And he doesn't like that, so he's going to stomp all the way through the snow, all the way down back to his normal spot. And it's like we can't do it, It's the wife can't do it. She's older with heart problems, and myself, I'm getting older, and I can't do it with my heart problems, and I don't have the energy to try to drive. I've done that before. I've driven it through the snow, and it's taken me like 15, 20 minutes of pushing and fighting the snow and trying to get it to move, and the wheels are spinning, and it's just, I can't do that anymore. I just don't have that kind of resilience at my age to do that. So this last storm came, it was sloppy, and it froze, and there's nothing we can do about it now. It's all frozen in place, and she's like, we need to do something. It's like, Go ahead. So she marched out with a snow shovel. I'm going to show you. And she's like, clink, 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 clink. Just like, she comes right back in. It's all frozen. Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't believe me, but I'm glad you went out and experienced it for yourself. So now maybe you'll stop hinting that I need to do something, because there's nothing you can do. It's a sheet of ice, at least on the top. So we do try to do stuff. We did get a little bit of melt the other day, so it went down just a little bit, but it's going to be several more days. I mean, again, it's 15, 16 degrees with wind, and it's like a zero out there. So everything's just solid. Everything's solid. It's miserable. We've had a miserable February. Yeah. And it's brutal. It is. And as I talked about last night, I was driving home from the rink last night, a little after 11 o'clock, and the local guy was talking about the weather. He's like, he goes, this has been a brutal February. And, say, oh, we're in New England, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but, we don't get this. We don't get this kind of wind and this kind of cold and this kind of snow all at once. This is kind of a first for us to have something like this. It's been a long time since we've had a February or even a January like this. This is extraordinarily bad, is what it is. So I heard there might be a little bit of warm up next week, but I mean, we're talking for us right now. Warm up is 20s, and that doesn't melt the snow. I mean, we had a little bit of sun today. We did get a little bit of melt. The only good thing is, like, I expected the cars to be all iced over, but they weren't, because the sun come out and took care of the cars, and then the little walkway that we got between all the snow is pretty clean, so we're not slipping on that, which is good. But for the most part, it's pretty brutal. And Sean says, I'm starting to slack off on the as-played replay leagues I joined. Being sick don't help, yeah. But it's hard to get into it when the team you pick to play are stinking to join out. Yeah, I can see that. It's got to be fun, but if it's all about winning, if it's just about, hey, I need to win or I'm not having fun, then it's, you got to take the good with the bad. That's why I like to play the odd teams. And just I get to see more teams on the table. So what did I play the other way? For hockey, I played Pittsburgh and the California Seals, which was fun because I get to play the Seals. And I played Chicago-Toronto. That was a great game. Chicago came back 3 goals in the third, and they were vast underdogs in that game with their scoring chances. I don't even know how they scored anything on Jacques Plante, but they did, including one with the goal he pulled at the end. That was great. I flipped that card, and they tied the game up with 58 seconds left or something like that. That was fun. And then I played the Rangers and the North Stars, so I got to get some Cesar Maniago against, was it Velimir? I think Velimir was in the net for the Rangers, so that was fun. So I played those teams, yeah. The Heat from Thursday's game, maybe. I don't think they're going to beat Canada twice in a row. It'd be nice if they did, but I don't see it happening. But it's kind of interesting that it's in Boston because there's a lot of people here that are going. I gave them all crap. I said, if I find out any of you paid $1,200 for a ticket and then tell me that, I can't pay you for the hockey game, Dave. No. If you can drop $1,200 on one ticket, he says, if I find out, I don't want any excuses of paying me to play hockey. I was giving some guys a ration about that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thanks for tuning in tonight. A lot of things happening here that I alluded to earlier. But yeah. So I'm pretty happy. I got my I got my Detroit Wheels schedule, pocket schedule. I got that off of eBay. I'm really excited about that. I don't know why, but I am. And then Chris White redid the 1970 team cards for me, so I will get those on the table here, and we'll get some football going. And those kind of work for everything, not just APA. So, if I were to play, I'm probably going to get the team cards for the WFL and the USFL, so I can, if I play anything here on the table, I'll have those. So, at least the WFL I'm going to do. So I'll have some more team cards. I love the team cards. I like logos and the colors, so I like just to have them on the table when I play. And it just it pleases the court, so to speak. And so I got those in today. What else did I get in today? I got a jacket. I've been buying all my jackets on eBay. I got a jacket I bought 2 or 3 years ago that I absolutely loved, and I went into stores and I can't find it. And the only place to get it is on eBay. Amazon doesn't even have it. So I get it on eBay. And, it's probably an older jacket, and this probably was $150 jacket at one point, and I'm buying them for $30. It's like, oh yeah, I'll take this for $30. The colors are not that good, but it's my size, and it's got a bunch of pockets, and I keep buying the same jacket over and over. And I bought two of them. I bought 2 green ones, and one of them the zipper broke, and another one the pocket ripped. And I tried to find a store around here that would fix it, and they're like, oh yeah, I could fix a zipper, probably like $40 or $50. And I'm like, the jacket cost me $30. And I says, so it sucks that you got to throw it out, but I'm not going to spend $40 or $50 to fix a zipper on a used jacket when I can spend $30 and get a brand new jacket. It stinks. That's just kind of where I am. So I get jackets coming in. I won't unbox the jackets because that's stupid. But for right now, yeah. So I found that jacket on eBay, and I bought like 4 or 5 more. I was like, okay, I want to make sure I have these because I know to fix them is going to be stupid money. So anyway, yeah, I hope things improve for me too. I'm just kind of hoping. I don't know where the dog went, but I'm kind of hoping he had a slow day today. So I'm kind of hoping it's just a bad day and it's not a sign of things to come too soon. I'm kind of hoping not, but I'm holding my breath on that. But anyway, so that's that. Looking forward to seeing more of you guys probably, well, definitely after Sunday, because after Sunday, 2 of the leagues are off till playoffs, so it opens up my schedule. Looking forward to getting back and playing. So many games I want to play, so many things I want to talk about, and I'm finally going to get to do that, I hope. Fingers crossed. So I'm Dave from a very, very cold Studio B. B for below zero. Talk to everybody later. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.